Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this live coverage bringing the all latest local in the country, the latest breaking news and updates on regional developments. Stay tuned. And now we begin with our latest coverage here in Kuwait. Welcome to our live broadcast. This is Abdurrahman Al-Mhanna, and tonight we bring you the breaking news from the state of Kuwait, an incident that has raised security concerns across the region. This evening, we'll be covering the latest developments surrounding the attack on Kuwait International Airport, its impact on the country, and the wider implication for the Gulf region. Stay with us as we dive deeper into the rapid developments. The Kuwait's General Civil Aviation Authority confirmed a troubling development as drone targeted Kuwait International Airport yesterday, causing minor injuries to several airport workers and limited damage to Terminal 1 of the airport and T2. This attack shocked the nation, especially given Kuwait's long-standing reputation for stability in the Gulf. Now, the incident is particularly significant coming amidst rising tensions in the region. That was all about the report. Now, let's move on as we are now joined. We have our correspondent Abdullah Al-Ajmi via phone call live from International Airport, Kuwait International Airport, especially after what happened at the airport yesterday. Let's get more information with our correspondent. Abdullah Al-Ajmi, as you are from the scene after the drone attack targeted Kuwait International Airport yesterday, can you tell us what happened with you today? We might be experiencing some technical difficulties. We'll get back with our reporters for more updates. Now, we'll move on to other segments as to the Ministry of Health, to the health segment. The health segment is playing a key part in the country. Now, also today, we have had an important role seen by ministers by the Ministry of Health announced that the admission of 32 injured individuals, all of foreign nationalities, to the emergency department at Al Adan Hospital. Medical teams immediately began treating them upon arrival, maintaining the highest levels of readiness and preparedness. One death was also reported, sadly, as part of the ongoing monitoring of developments in the region. Now, the ministry's official spokesperson, Dr. Abdullah Al-Sanad, explained that today, 15 patients were transferred to Jabir Hospital for further specialized medical care, while the remaining cases continued to be monitored at Al Adan Hospital. The viewers, 5 patients were admitted to the operating rooms at Al Adan Hospital for necessary surgical procedures. Dr. Sanad stated that the injuries varied, including chest, head and abdominal injuries, as well as fractures and other injuries. He also emphasized that all patients are receiving meticulous medical care and continuous monitoring according to approved treatment protocols. Now, also the Ministry of Health had previously announced the admission of 12 injured individuals yesterday. All received necessary medical care at its hospitals, 9 at Al Farwaniya Hospital, 2 at Al Jahra Hospital, and 1 at Mubarak Hospital. All patients received meticulous care and continuous monitoring. Now, the ministry affirmed that continued readiness of emergency and intensive care departments and ongoing coordination between various health sectors to ensure rapid response and the provision of necessary care with high efficiency in light of current developments. Now, dear viewers, we move on to our second live stream. Our correspondent Nasser Al-Husainan, who's currently at Kuwait Fire Forces, and will give us the latest updates. We'll get back with Nasser Al-Husainan as we go on with our latest coverage. The viewers, moving on, First Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Interior Sheikh Fahad Yusuf Saud Al-Sabah stated today that the state's emergency preparedness plan is being implemented under a comprehensive and well-studied system. In a press statement on the sidelines of his visit to Jabir Al-Ahmed Hospital to check on those injured as a result of the shelling, accompanied by Minister of Health Ahmed Al-Awadi, Sheikh Fahad Al-Yusuf affirmed that relevant bodies are keen on closely following up on the condition of the injured and providing them with necessary health care in line with the highest medical standards. He added that the state has mobilized all medical and human resources to ensure swift response and immediate handling of cases, praising the efforts of medical, nursing and technical staff for carrying out their humanitarian and professional duties with dedication and responsibility. He also noted that directives stem from His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmad al-Jaber al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, stressing that all ministers are working within an integrated system in which each assumes his assigned responsibilities, thus enhancing rapid response and complementary among the concerned authorities. He also expressed sincere appreciation to all personnel across various sectors for their dedicated service to Kuwait and its people, underscoring that their efforts embody national responsibility and solidarity in confronting the challenges. The minister voiced hope that the panic and fear would subside among the citizens and residents, affirming that the government has secured all necessary capabilities to guarantee food security and public safety for all. He also urged the public to rely on official sources for information and avoid rumours or unverified news. He also stressed that the importance of refraining from filming or publishing any footage that would or could cause panic or harm security measures, noting that adherence to instructions contributes to preserving community safety and security. He pointed out that the General Directorate of Civil Defence receives reports around the clock through its approved channels and continues to monitor developments and inform the public transparently to ensure swift response and also reassurance. He added that current production levels at Kuwait Flour Mills and Bakeries Company exceeded normal daily rates, affirming that strategic stockpile is available in sufficient quantities. He also indicated that water supplies are available as usual and that distribution is proceeding at regular rates without interruption. He also concluded that by noting that the arrangements and measures being taken are led by His Highness the Prime Minister, who is keenly following developments on all levels. Now, dear viewers, we move on to our next live stream. Our reporter Ghada Mansour is at the Defence Operations Room at the Civil Social Affairs. Let's say Ghada Mansour. Ghada Mansour, after a very warm welcome, can you please tell us the latest updates you have from your side as you're monitoring the situation?
Thank you, Abdurrahman. We're currently at the Civil Defense Operations Room here with Major Sara Jamil, where she will be providing us with the latest updates. Good evening, Major Sara Jamil. Could you please provide us with the latest updates?
Yes, good evening. The Ministry of Interior confirms that the Civil Defense Operations Room is in continuous session to ensure the public safety with the participation of all or relevant government entities. The Ministry of Interior The Ministry of Interior confirms that the Civil Defense Operations Room is in continuous session with the participation of all the relevant government entities. We reassure that the situation is under control, so no need to panic, no need to concern. The food and the fuel reserves are available and sufficient. So please don't panic, and it's very important today to clarify that filming or taking photos for the current security situations, like taking photos of the rockets or anything or any acts related to security situation is punishable by law, and it will have, to be honest, negative impact on the public. So the Ministry of Interior with the other entities is working to ensure the public safety, the safety of the country and its people.
Major Sara, if you would like to send a message right now to reassure citizens and the residents of the state of Kuwait, what would you like to tell them?
We want to advise them to stay calm, don't panic, please. Rely on the social media or the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Information, or all government social media accounts or media accounts. Avoid following the fake news, or don't circulate or send or reshare the fake news or inaccurate information to stay safe and to preserve the security in the country. Also, for those who are going outside, if you see anything strange or even familiar, pen, can, watch, or anything on the floor, please don't touch it, don't approach, and call 112. 112 is working 24/7 to assist the public with the humanitarian and security assistance.
Thank you, Major Sarah Jamil, for kindly updating us right now. We would just like to reiterate one more time to all citizens and residents of the state of Kuwait to comply and to distinguish amongst three different siren tones. The intermittent tone indicates imminent danger, the wavy tone indicates that danger is happening, and the continuous tone indicates that danger has passed. We also ask of you to comply with the instructions and guidances of the Ministry of Interior and to only follow and obtain your information from the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Information, and to avoid spreading and listening to rumors. We pray to Allah the safety and security, the continuous safety and security of our beloved Kuwait, to its citizens and residents.
Thank you, Ghada, and thanks to Major Sarah Jamil, your guest, for the elaborative answers and putting the viewers on the same picture of what's going on from their side. They're working, as we've seen, very closely to monitor the situation in and around the state of Kuwait. And Major Sarah Jamil, your guest, did mention a lot of important things to you, the viewers, which is important that we shouldn't be listening to fake news or AI-generated videos, in other words, and we should only listen from the verified news from official agencies. And as the guest also mentioned, that 112, they're working very closely and around the clock. So make sure that you listen to the officials and only from the official segments and the official platforms that relate to the government agencies. Now, the viewers, that we've listened to our correspondent from the Civil Defense Operations Room, let's take a report and come back to you.
The Iranian Revolutionary Guard announced a new series of attacks targeting U.S. and Israeli occupation military bases in the region. In response, Gulf countries expressed deep concern over the escalating tensions, strongly condemning Iran's action as a violation of Arab state unity, territorial integrity, and sovereignty. Kuwait's Ministry of Defense confirmed that its air defense force successfully intercepted multiple hostile aerial targets. Colonel Saud Al Atwan emphasized that the armed forces remain vigilant and are prepared to respond to any further developments to ensure national security and stability. In Bahrain, the National Communications Center reported that the Bahrain Defense Forces missile systems successfully intercepted a wave of Iranian ballistic missiles and drones targeting the country. Limited debris fell in several areas, and authorities acted immediately to ensure the safety of affected sites and address any potential consequences. Qatar's Ministry of Defense stated that Qatari fighter jets and air defense systems responded to similar aerial attacks, including drones and missiles launched toward Qatari airspace. In Dubai, the government media office reported that 4 people were injured at Dubai International Airport following a missile strike. Meanwhile, in Abu Dhabi, drone debris fell into the facade of a building of Etihad Towers after being intercepted by UAE air defenses, causing minor injuries to a woman and her child, along with limited property damage. Oman also faced drone attacks today. The Oman news agency reported that a worker was injured when 2 drones targeted the commercial port of Dogum, with one striking a mobile workers' housing unit. The Sultanate condemned the attack and affirmed that all necessary measures are being taken to protect the safety of the country and its residents.
after we've listened to this detailed report, let's get back to my colleague Abdullah Al-Ajmi, and who's reporting from Kuwait International Airport after the heinous Iranian attack. Abdullah Al-Ajmi, if you are listening to us, please give us the latest update on the ground and how are officials dealing with the situation.
Yes, good evening to you, Abdurrahman, and everyone who is listening or watching us on KTV2 right now. We are right now at the exact same location where the drone attack had happened almost 24 hours ago exactly. As of today, what we are seeing is a coordinated multi-agency response that is still very active. After yesterday's drone strike, authorities moved quickly to secure Kuwait International Airport. And this morning, senior officials were back on site reviewing the damage firsthand. Currently, as of right now, the situation is described as stable and it's very calm in the airport. The impacted sections were isolated almost immediately after the incident, and the technical inspection teams began structural evaluations early today, looking at everything from building integrity to electrical systems and the operational infrastructure also. What's notable is that reconstruction work has already begun. Engineering, the crews are repairing damaged infrastructure, reinforcing impacted structures, and conducting detailed safety checks. Officials have made it clear that restoration is happening in phases, meaning operations will only resume fully once each section passes safety clearance. So it's not a rushed reopening, it's more a controlled recovery. Security presence remained very visible and heightened at the airport and other strategic facilities. Patrols have increased, surveillance systems are being closely monitored, and coordination between security agencies is still ongoing. Authorities are balancing two priorities right now: restoring normal operations and maintaining maximum precaution.
And since you are at the scene currently, and away from, since you also have informed us about the engineering sites and work they've done, what other exact measures that you've seen that officials have done?
As of right now, they already started reconstruction, everything that have been damaged from the roof spaces to the debris everywhere. From what we understand, right now, emergency protocols were activated within minutes of the impact. Airport staff in affected terminals were evacuated in an orderly manner using pre-established contingency procedures. Officials have also emphasized that these drills are regularly practiced, which likely helped to prevent confusion or panic. Medical response was immediate also. Ambulance teams were dispatched quickly, and injuries have been described as minor. Thank God there was no only material damages. And those affected received on-site care before being transferred for further evaluation where necessary on hospitals and even the civil defense and security team conducted thorough sweeps of the area to ensure there were no secondary devices or additional threats. Only after those checks were completed where technical teams were allowed to enter for assessments and reconstruction work. And even now, during repairs, worker safety remains a major focus. Access to damaged zones is restricted. Proactive equipment is mandatory for repair crews, and continuous inspections are taking place throughout the terminal and the reconstruction site. Authorities appear determined to ensure that the recovery phase itself does not create new risks.
So, well, that was clear. And what about the Ministry of Defense? They said earlier that they intercepted multiple drone attacks and missiles. Does this reflect the Army's capabilities in handling any further possible escalations, God forbid?
On that front, the Ministry of Defense confirmed that multiple drones and missiles were intercepted successfully. That's a key development because it demonstrates that early warning systems were active and functioning as intended. Air defense units also reportedly detected the incoming threats, tracking them and engaging accordingly. Military officials have also stated that forces remain, even as of right now, remain on heightened alert, and that airspace monitoring is continuing around the clock. This response actually reflects a broader state of readiness, as all the officials in the Kuwait's armed forces are operating under reinforced security protocols, coordinating closely with internal security agencies, and the successful interceptions send a signal that defense systems are capable of responding quickly to any threats, even aerial threats. And at this stage, authorities are emphasizing vigilance. That's the most important thing. While the immediate situation is under control, thank God, monitoring remains continuous and preparedness levels remain elevated in case of further developments. Overall, what we are witnessing is a structured response, rapid emergency action, active reconstruction, strengthened security measures, and also sustained military readiness, all at all time, all aimed at stabilizing the situation while preventing escalation.
Abdullah Al-Ajmi, thank you for the latest updates. Well, the viewers, as you've listened for the latest updates at the Kuwait International Airport T1, exactly, everything is being recovered, hopefully, and that is by the efforts done by the government agencies from all aspects, from agencies as well, from the engineering side, from the health side. As we've mentioned earlier, that the Ministry of Health is taking extra care of those injured, whether be it at the Ministry of Defense, Ali Salam Air Base, or whether be it the ones that were injured at Kuwait International Airport, the 12 people that were injured, the 9 of them who gone to the hospitals, and whether be it the Ministry of Interior and of course the Ministry of Defense, who took extra care and precautions to make sure that movement is restricted for extra high standards of safety for the people of Kuwait and the people residing in the state of Kuwait. And thankfully the damage to the airport, as we've listened and we were monitoring the situation through the official media of the government agencies and at Kuwait TV Al Akhbar channel and KTV2, the damage is not deep into the infrastructure. The damage was limited in terms of the injuries and in terms of the airport itself and in terms of the infrastructure itself. So we thank God for that, and we also appreciate the efforts the government is putting around the clock and for those people working very hard to make everything that is go as smooth as possible. Now, before we go on to our next correspondent, let us take a quick look at this detailed report and then get back to you.
The international community is highly concerned over military strikes against Iran launched by the United States and Israel occupation forces, with world leaders calling for restraint, dialogue, and respect for international law. The United States and the occupation forces on Saturday launched a surprise strike on Iran, prompting Iranian missile attacks on the occupation and U.S. targets across several countries in the region. The Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi, a major mediator in U.S.-Iran nuclear talks, expressed on Saturday his dismay over the strikes on Iran, adding that active and serious negotiations have yet again been undermined. The Russian foreign minister said in a statement on Saturday that the U.S. and Israel occupation airstrikes were a premeditated and unprovoked act of armed aggression against a sovereign United Nations member state in direct violation of the fundamental principle and norms of the international law. The ministry demands an immediate return to political and diplomatic efforts to resolve tensions surrounding Iran. Meanwhile, European Council President Antonio Costa and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said in a joint statement that developments related to Iran were greatly concerning, adding that the European Union remain in close contact with its partners in the region. They said in the statement, ensuring nuclear safety and preventing any action that could further escalate tensions or undermine the global non-proliferation regime are of the critical importance. A government spokesperson in Britain said it stands ready to protect its interests in the Middle East and does not want the crisis to expand into a wider regional conflict. Furthermore, French President Emmanuel Macron said that the outbreak of war against Iran by the United States and Israel occupation carries grave consequences for international peace and security.
And now, the viewers, we're back to you after the detailed report that we've listened to. And let's get a chance to listen to our correspondent and Mohammed Sawag. We'll get back to him very soon as we connect with him. We will listen to our correspondent Sheikh At-Tamimi in the control room of the Ministry of Social Affairs. Sheikh At-Tamimi, can you hear us? We'll get back to Sheikh At-Tamimi, dear viewers. Let's get this report and come back to you.
The Air Defense Force announced that it intercepted a number of hostile aerial targets this morning with high efficiency and professionalism. In a press statement, the official spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense said the targets were detected and intercepted within the operational zone south of the country as part of full readiness measures to protect the airspace, noting that no injuries were reported. He affirmed the armed forces continue to carry out their duties and address any potential developments to ensure the security and stability of the country. On the other hand, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry announced a change in working hours for all food distribution branches, which will now be open daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., effective today until further notice. In a statement, the ministry explained that this decision stems from its commitment to ensuring essential goods and facilitating access to food supplies. In this regard, the Public Authority for Food and Nutrition affirmed full readiness to ensure uninterrupted operations, noting that inspection and monitoring activities are proceeding normally. The Ministry of Health announced that outpatient clinics in all hospitals will be limited to dispensing medications only for one day, in order to manage resources and focus efforts in light of regional developments. The ministry emphasized that emergency departments and clinics are operating at full capacity around the clock to receive urgent cases, adhering to the highest standards of readiness and response. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation said it started assessment of damages caused by an Iranian attack ahead of carrying out repairs in order to restore operations as soon as possible. The authority affirmed that the situation in Kuwait International Airport is stable and urged the public not to listen to rumors.
Well, the viewers, Sheikh At-Tamimi, our correspondent, is at the control room of the Ministry of Social Affairs. Sheikh, after a very warm welcome, tell us and tell the viewers what the situation is like and what are the latest updates that you have for us.
Thank you, Abdulrahman. As I come to you live from the Operations Center at the Ministry of Social Affairs at Abdullah Salim area, we reiterate and emphasize the commitment to ensure supplying everyone's need without a disruption. As I and all relevant authorities, we want to keep telling people to not overbuy what you need, because everything is available in all cooperative societies.
Well, Sheikh, thank you for the latest updates for our viewers from the control room. We will get back to you with our latest coverages as well for more updates. So now the viewers will take a quick report and we'll get back with our correspondents who are on field to give us the latest updates here in the state of Kuwait. Thank you.
Following the death of Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's Revolutionary Guard announced the start of the 7th and 8th wave of True Promise 4 against the Israeli occupation and U.S. bases across the Gulf region. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard pledged revenge, launching attacks on 27 bases hosting U.S. troops in the Middle East, as well as occupation military facilities in occupied Palestine. Tehran launched a wide wave of missiles targeting various areas of the occupied territories, resulting in the death of one occupation soldier and the injury of 456 others, while sirens sounded over 500 times across occupied Palestine. Strikes and shelling have intensified after occupation strikes hit an elementary girls' school in Minab, south of Iran, killing 108 people, most of them children. Iran reported that at least 201 people have been killed in the attacks across 24 provinces, with numbers rising. And amid rising tensions, at least 150 tankers, including crude oil and LNG vessels, have dropped anchor and are stranded on either side of the Strait of Hormuz, as the passageway is now closed. Iran's top security official, Ali Larijani, stressed that the United States and the occupation are trying to plunder and disintegrate Iran, adding that Iran will strike the United States and the occupation with unprecedented force, noting that the people of Iran will not allow division of their country.
And now we're back, and we'll get back again to our colleague Sheikha Tamimi, who's at the control room of Ministry of Social Affairs. We'll get more updates with her guest as well. Sheikha, please give us more updates.
Thank you, Abdulrahman. With me is Abdulrahman Al-Ma'toug, a computer engineer at the Ministry of Social Affairs at the Operations Center, and he will be telling us on the smoothness of operations over here.
We are currently at the Ministry of Social Affairs Monitoring Center. The center allows us to monitor supermarkets as well as supply centers. We urge everyone to take their information from official sources. Moreover, we remind them that there is no shortage of supplies, there is no shortage of goods, and the situation is stable.
Well, there you have it, dear viewers. You have heard it from the authorities themselves. We have sufficient supply of goods in all over the cooperative societies. We have over 60 cooperative societies distributed all around Kuwait, monitored through over 1,400 cameras in 191 varying locations. We urge the dear viewers again to only seek information from the official channels, and as always, stay safe.
And Sheikha, from your side, as you have been at the monitoring center of supermarkets, and you've probably spoken to many officials, and you've seen the situation, the number of goods being sold is increasing because of the escalating tensions. Can you tell us if you sensed any fear or atmosphere of something like that, or everything is running smoothly?
I've been told by the relevant authorities, the employees here, and the heads of the department, there have been a little bit of panic buying, specifically regarding bottled water, but they have directed the co-op authorities to only allow 5 cartons of bottled water per person. As we all know, there is no need to overbuy any kind of these supplies, as hopefully these current circumstances will soon dissipate. I've seen the cooperative societies myself. We have Hatin Cooperative Society, Al-Shuhada, Abdullah Al-Salam, as well as supply centers known as Tamween, and everything is going smoothly. Thankfully, the citizens and residents are actually abiding by the rules.
So, Sheikha, you've said something about limiting the amount of buying goods. What do you mean by that exactly? Is it the quantity itself, you mean, of food?
People, for some reason, people overbuy quantities that they do not need per se, thus not allowing other people to buy the goods that they need themselves. So, for example, if I buy 10 cartons of water, whereas my need would be just 5 cartons of water, I would be not allowing other people get their own needs. So like we said, again, just buy what you need, be it water, be it poultry, be it meat, be it any kind of essential goods. Eventually this situation will dissipate and safety will always prevail.
Okay, Sheikh Tamimi, thank you for the latest updates. The viewers, now will move to Kuwait Fire Force. Nasser Al-Husainan, our correspondent on field, he'll give us more updates. Nasser Al-Husainan, if you're listening to me, give us the latest updates you have.
announced that it intercepted a number of hostile aerial targets this morning with high efficiency and professionalism. In a press statement, the official spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense said the targets were detected and intercepted within the operational zone south of the country as part of full readiness measures to protect the airspace, noting that no injuries were reported. He affirmed the armed forces continue to carry out their duties and address any potential developments to ensure the security and stability of the country. On the other hand, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry announced a change in working hours for all food distribution branches, which will now be open daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., effective today until further notice. In a statement, the ministry explained that this decision stems from its commitment to ensuring essential goods and facilitating access to food supplies. In this regard, the Public Authority for Food and Nutrition affirmed full readiness to ensure uninterrupted operations, noting that inspection and monitoring activities are proceeding normally. The Ministry of Health announced that outpatient clinics in all hospitals will be limited to dispensing medications only for one day in order to manage resources and focus efforts in light of regional developments. The ministry emphasized that emergency departments and clinics are operating at full capacity around the clock to receive urgent cases, adhering to the highest standards of readiness and response. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation said it started assessment of damages caused by an Iranian attack ahead of carrying out repairs in order to restore operations as soon as possible. The authority affirmed that the situation in Kuwait International Airport is stable and urged the public not to listen to rumors.
We still are giving you the latest updates. Now we move to our correspondent, Mohammed Al-Sawaq. Mohammed, if you're listening to me, give us the latest updates. Tell us where you are, tell the viewers where you are, and tell us what are the latest updates you have.
Okay, yes, Abdul Rahman. I'm here at Kuwait Supply Company, and this is one of the buildings, as you can see behind me. The officials told me that the Prime Minister, Sheikh Ahmed Al Abdullah Sabah, may Allah protect him, have visited this location, and they told me that there was plans for emergencies that they are applying now in Kuwait, and they told me about that they confirmed that the strategic reserves and the resources that we have and goods and supplies, they are in excellent level, and they have the teams on the field that work 24/7 for any case, any emergency case. And they told me that the location is supervised and monitored with different monitoring system, include CCTV,
Yes.
temperature and humidity, and connected to a centralized operation room. This room behind me, Abdurrahman, if you can see, is one of the tens of rooms that have in many different locations in Kuwait. The government and the officials told me that they need to focus on the news and the source to get the news from, which Kuwait TV and the radio and the official sources. That's all I have, Abdurrahman. Back to you.
And Mohammed, before you go, so in summary, you can tell the viewers that as you're at the scene, everything is at great levels and the stockpile is great. In summary.
Yes, here the official told me that the levels of goods we have and supply is full, and no need to worry, as Kuwait can stay in a good situation for months, and we are in a good conditions. Just asking the people not to worry about the supplies in Kuwait.
Mohammed Al-Sawaq, thank you for the latest updates. We'll get back to you throughout the day as you monitor the situation. Now we'll get the report and come back to you.
The Iranian Revolutionary Guard announced a new series of attacks targeting U.S. and Israeli occupation military bases in the region. In response, Gulf countries expressed deep concern over the escalating tensions, strongly condemning Iran's action as a violation of Arab state unity, territorial integrity, and sovereignty. Kuwait's Ministry of Defense confirmed that its air defense force successfully intercepted multiple hostile aerial targets. Colonel Saud Al-Atwan emphasized that the armed forces remain vigilant and are prepared to respond to any further developments to ensure national security and stability. In Bahrain, the National Communications Center reported that the Bahrain Defense Forces missile systems successfully intercepted a wave of Iranian ballistic missiles and drones targeting the country. Limited debris fell in several areas, and authorities acted immediately to ensure the safety of affected sites and address any potential consequences. Qatar's Ministry of Defense stated that Qatari fighter jets and air defense systems responded to similar aerial attacks, including drones and missiles launched toward Qatari airspace. In Dubai, the government media office reported that 4 people were injured at Dubai International Airport following a missile strike. Meanwhile, in Abu Dhabi, drone debris fell into the facade of a building of Etihad Towers after being intercepted by UAE air defenses, causing minor injuries to a woman and her child, along with limited property damage. Oman also faced drone attacks today. The Oman news agency reported that a worker was injured when 2 drones targeted the commercial port of Dogum, with one striking a mobile workers' housing unit. The Sultanate condemned the attack and affirmed that all necessary measures are being taken to protect the safety of the country and its residents.
Dear viewers, we still are giving you the latest updates into the Kuwait Fire Forces. Nasser Al-Husainan, if you are listening to us, our on-field reporters, please give us the latest updates you have.
Hello, thank you, Abdurrahman, and good evening to everyone who is watching and listening to KTV2. I am currently in the Kuwait Fire Force, and they are working tirelessly 24/7 to ensure the public safety of everyone here living in Kuwait. Right now, I have with me Lieutenant Colonel Ali Mohammed Hassan, who's going to give us the latest updates. Mr. Ali, can you give us the latest updates?
First of all, I'd like to thank the Ministry of Information about the media coverage. Currently, the Kuwait Fire Force has raised the emergency plan and level of awareness due to the current situation. As we monitor every emergency call through the central operation room at the Kuwait Fire Force, we want to ensure the public and our residents and the fellow citizens in the state of Kuwait that all of the emergency calls that we're receiving are usually within the normal range, within the houses or small incidents. So there is no way to panic or to be more, we always advise people to be more vigilant and aware of your surrounding. So there is no way to panic. Ensure that the fire force, all of the fire force stations are working excessively around the clock 24/7 to ensure the safety of the public. Therefore, we always encourage people in case of any emergency that happens, you are always welcome to call the emergency number 112, describe your situation clearly, and therefore the fire force will be on time. Again, some public awareness or messages that we like to advise people, usually in these type of situations, if you usually come across a small incident at home, make sure you have a fire blanket or a fire extinguisher, and you could deal with the situation on the basis itself before you call. If you couldn't contain the situation, you could call the emergency number. I'd hear the messages across the media platforms that we are always hearing due to the current situation. It's very important that you come across the official media channels throughout the state of Kuwait, the Ministry of Information, and the Kuwait Fire Force platforms such as the Instagram or our website. We're always giving out these awareness messages. You could follow us and make sure you follow the government entities, adhere all of the awareness messages, and again, we're always here to serve and protect.
And Mr. Ali, can you tell us about the safety precautions about not using elevators and using stairwells instead?
Currently, as you mentioned, some incidents related to door locks, emergency, or people strand in certain areas. It's very important, even if we have experienced a power outage at home. Remember, don't use the elevators, and you keep watch an eye on your children, especially right now. We all know the Ministry of Communication has moved the school to be online. So a lot of people are staying at their homes right now, and there is excessive load of electricity. So make sure you have a watch eye on your children and don't leave them unattended, because some of the problems we deal with in incidents related to children playing with a source of heat, and so you need to have a safe house. And we always say this: if you experience any emergency, make sure you have a safety emergency kit at home, and be always vigilant. Call the emergency number in the beginning of the situation. Deputize somebody if the situation gets out of hand. And remember, stay with your family. Give them certain guidelines. Especially right now, we are in an unstable condition. So you gotta ensure your kids, your family members, that we are in a safe house and everything is under control. And all of the government entities are doing their job around the clock to ensure the safety of the people in Kuwait.
Yes, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Lieutenant Colonel Ali, who gave us the latest updates and all the safety precautions that you should be taking in the state of Kuwait. And back to you, Abdurrahman.
Nasser Al-Hassanan, thank you for the update. But as you're at the scene and have been at the scene for quite a long time now, did you get to witness the work that they were doing, the Kuwait Fire Force? Did you get even the screens behind you? Did you get to know how they are operating around the clock?
Yes, Abdurrahman, they were working 24/7 here, and I've noticed that they were getting some calls and they were immediately going to act upon the calls that they were receiving.
And did they tell you anything that they were receiving unusual calls, or that everything is running smoothly since the conflict began?
No, since the conflict began, they were receiving normal calls. This day, they were receiving calls about some fires, some small fires that were happening in Dajij.
Nasser Al-Hassanan, thank you for the latest updates. Dear viewers, let's take this detailed report and come back to you.
The United States and the occupation forces on Saturday launched a surprise strike on Iran, prompting Iranian missile attacks on the occupation and U.S. targets across several countries in the region. The Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi, a major mediator in U.S.-Iran nuclear talks, expressed on Saturday his dismay over the strikes on Iran, adding that active and serious negotiations have yet again been undermined. The Russian foreign minister said in a statement on Saturday that the US and Israel occupation airstrikes were a premeditated and unprovoked act of armed aggression against a sovereign United Nations member state in direct violation of the fundamental principle and norms of the international law. The ministry demanded an immediate return to political and diplomatic efforts to resolve tensions surrounding Iran. Meanwhile, European Council President Antonio Costa and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said in a joint statement that developments related to Iran were greatly concerning, adding that the European Union remained in close contact with its partners in the region. They said in the statement, ensuring nuclear safety and preventing any action that could further escalate tensions or undermine the global non-proliferation regime are of the critical importance. A government spokesperson in Britain said it stands ready to protect its interests in the Middle East and does not want the crisis to expand into a wider regional conflict. Furthermore, French President Emmanuel Macron said that the outbreak of war against Iran by the United States and Israel occupation carries grave consequences for international peace and security.
Now, via phone call, Dr. Swayed Al-Abchal, political and security expert for Middle East. Good evening, Dr. Swayed, and after a very warm welcome, please tell us the latest updates on the security situation.
Good evening to you and to everybody in the studio. Thank you for having me at Kuwait TV. Let me start with the right framework. This isn't just about what happened. It's about what was meant to test in the Gulf. Public confidence continually of daily life and decision making under pressure. First, I want to separate fact from assessment. Factually, major outlets and wire service report that Iran state media confirmed that the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has been killed, and that is a transition mechanism has been activated with a temporary leadership structure, with is a successor is selected, and this is a major point. Iran hasn't been tested in that. Haven't tested that water since the Iranian Revolution, and now it's a huge shift in the region. My assessment is that it creates a classic succession shock moment. In that kind of moment, regions typically do two things at once. Mm-hmm. They either tighten internal control to prevent instability, and they restore deterrence externally so they don't look weak. So what's next from Iran? This is, so this is a very important question to ask. The most likely path is controlled escalation. Enough to signal capability and revenge, however, calibrated to avoid a full regional war. Tehran can't imagine during this leadership shift and the transition expect to blend of direct signal and systematic tools, limited waves of missile or drones, cyber disruption and pressure points, such as maritime risk around key checkpoints like the Strait of Hormuz, because these tools reject strength without committing to single decision battle. On the Brock side, Hezbollah has signaled politically that it will confront aggression, but operationally it might calibrate it because it has to weigh Lebanon constraints at the moment and Israel response. Let's see, if we look at Iraq, the near-term risk, published deniable attacks on U.S. or ally interests, because that lane gives Tehran pressure with deniability, and the Houthi as well, in the south of the peninsula, uses maritime pressure as a lever because it produces a strategic effect, fast without requiring conventional escalation. For the GCC, the key is not panic, it's resilience. Protect critical infrastructure, keep public confidence high, and win the information space. Because in the phase of objective is often exhausted society psychologically as much as physically. Now, if you ask me directly, is Kuwait at immediate risk? Kuwait is in a high intent readiness posture, which means the risk is there. The risk is being taken seriously. The most realistic near-term risk is spillover and limited deniable disruption, aviation airspace exposure, Russia and critical infrastructure, or cyber and information attack. More than a sustained campaign, the purpose of the current posture is to keep the risk from translating into public harm. And what is, the biggest signal indicator to watch in the next 72 hours? Watch what Iran shift from symbolic message to organized operational tempo. Practically, will you see the first airspace and maritime risk posture, extend closure, repeated disruption, or credible navigation. Those reflect real changes in perceived intent, not just rhetoric. Finally, analyzing, the respect next phases, there is mainly, I think, in my opinion, 5 most important phases. Iran transition stability. Does the internal arrangement to project unity and command discipline, or do see mixed signals? Like, will they separate, the Iranian population? Will they have internal issue? And is the shift of power, will it go smoothly, or there is, nothing do there? The IRGC, the Iranian Revolution Guard Corps, targeting language. Do they stay at broad revenge messaging, or do they begin specifically targeting set and timeline? The shift often signals movement from deterrent threats toward operational planning, or proxy activation signals. Unusual claim movement, or let's say ambitious in drone rocket patterns through the Iraq-Syria corridor. This is the classic lane for plausible deniability. Aviation and, the aviation sector and the maritime risk posture, airspace disruption, repeated flight suspension, or shipping hesitation are real-time indicator of how threat perception is changing beyond rhetoric. The information environment, spikes in deepfakes rumors, waves, and panic content. Often the goal is to break confidence and exhaust the public psychologically, not only cause physical damage, the assessment, but it's aligned with what governments warn against during crisis. And, this is my last, been long, but, I will finish with this. And this is why, the GCC and Kuwait angle matter. Kuwait posture reflects the rational model in crisis. Resource internally, harden critical infrastructure, reduce exposure where is needed, like airspace and decision, and displaying the information in space. This is how to deny any adversary the psychological and economical effect they are seeking. And this is what I have for you for now, and sorry for taking so long.
No worries, Doctor. Dr. Swayed Al-Abchal, thank you for the latest updates on the security situation taking place in the region. Now, viewers, let's take a quick break and come back to you.
الإدارة العامة للدفاع المدني على استعداد تام وجاهزية عالية، ونعمل وفق خطط مدروسة ومحدثة باستمرار لمواجهة أي طارئ، ونتابع مع الجهات الحكومية كل ما يخص احتياجاتها لضمان استمرار نظام سير العمل وعجلة الإنتاج وسير الحياة الطبيعية، ونقول للجميع سلامتكم أولويتنا.
منظومة الاتصالات بالكويت شغالة بكفاءة عالية ولله الحمد، والهيئة العامة للاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات مستعدة لأي طارئ لا قدر الله. وفي ظل التوترات اللي تمر فيها المنطقة، فعلنا خطط الطوارئ وعززنا التعاون مع الجهات المعنية عشان نضمن استقرار الخدمات الرقمية وسرعة الاستجابة لأي مستجد. الوضع تحت المتابعة وكل الجهات المختصة على أتم الجاهزية. عسى الله يحفظ الكويت وأهلها.
تؤكد وزارة الكهرباء والماء والطاقة المتجددة بأن عمليات توليد الطاقة الكهربائية وتحلية المياه تسير وفق الخطط التشغيلية المعتادة، وتؤكد الوزارة على جاهزيتها التامة للتعامل مع أي طارئ من خلال خطط متكاملة تتضمن الإجراءات الواجب اتباعها لاستمرارية الكهرباء والماء. وتوفر لدى الوزارة كفاءات وطنية مؤهلة وعلى أعلى درجات الاستعداد لتفعيل هذه الخطط متى ما دعت الحاجة. والمخزون الاستراتيجي من المياه العذبة في البلاد في ازدياد، إلى جانب توفر مخزون من المياه الجوفية، مما يعزز قدرة المنظومة الوطنية على الصمود والتعامل مع مختلف الظروف.
We still give you the latest updates, dear viewers. Let's go to our correspondent, Hamad Ibrahim, to give us the latest that the Ministry of Information has been doing and preparing in the midst of the latest conflict and escalating in the conflict in the region. Hamad Ibrahim, after a very warm welcome, please tell us the latest you have.
Thank you very much, Abdurrahman. I would like to thank you for all the staff actually who's working with you, and thank you very much for this great effort. I'm going to say actually the Ministry of Information in Kuwait is quite prepared when it comes to dealing with misinformation and making sure people get accurate news through official channels. As you know, Abdurrahman, over the past years, there has been a clear improvement in how information is delivered and how quickly official news is published, especially through Kuwait TV, radio, and official social media accounts. Yeah, today rumors spread very fast on social media, and people sometimes believe things before checking if they are true. Because of that, the ministry understands that it has a big responsibility to provide reliable and verified information that people can trust. Official channels are still considered the main reference for accurate news, especially during important events or sensitive situations, as we are facing right now. What really makes a difference is the effort of the staff working inside the ministry. The journalists, editors, producers, technicians, everyone works seriously to make sure that the news is correct before it goes on air. Even when there is a pressure or limited time, they try their best to confirm the information and present it in a professional way. Many people don't see the work actually happening in the behind the scenes, but there is always a team checking facts, preparing reports, and coordinating with official sources. Sometimes they even work extra times just to make sure the information reaches the public quickly and accuracy. Also, the ministry is not only relying on television like before. Now they use social media and online platforms to reach people faster because, as we all know, this is where most people get their news today. This helps reduce confusion and allows people to find the official version of the story instead of depending on rumors. Overall, I would say the ministry is in a good position to deal with misinformation, and the system is improving step by step. The important thing is that there is awareness inside the ministry about the danger of false information, and there is a real effort to provide clear and trustworthy news. And honestly, the staff deserves appreciation. They work with dedication and a strong sense of responsibility because they know the accurate information is important for the country and for the public, especially in this time. So yes, in general, the ministry is ready and capable, and the official channels remain the most reliable source when it comes to verified news in Kuwait.
And what is one last message that you would give to the viewers in terms of getting the information right?
The most thing is just to follow actually the social media platforms and like Instagram and the X app, and also the 51 app.
From official agencies, of course.
Official agencies,
yes.
Yeah, these are all official agencies. You have Kona, and don't ever rely on the social media from unverified sources because they might deliver the story in a way that is not true. And the thing is, rumors spread really, really fast, and that's really bad for the public, and it might create panic. So always stick with the official sources, Kuwait TV, the radio, and the official social media accounts, and Kona.
Hamad Ibrahim, thank you for the latest updates. And dear viewers, so as we have witnessed during this coverage, and as we have given you the latest updates, the Ministry of Defence and the Ministry of Interior and also the Civil Defence and also the Social Affairs and also the Ministry of Health and all the ministries as well, not to forget any sector and ministries in the state of Kuwait, is doing a tremendous job and working at the forefront with the employees around the clock and working heavily with their staff during time and during peak hours and 24 hours to serve the people of Kuwait and to serve the people residing in the state of Kuwait, from taking extra care at hospitals through the Ministry of Health, taking extra care through by restricting the movements in crowded places if needed, and also the Ministry of Defence have done great job by intercepting missiles. We know that the latest information we have, more than 90 missiles have been intercepted as of today, and also more than 280 drones have been also intercepted by the Ministry of Defence. This is not something that we just created in a daytime. This is something that a series of build-up of capabilities that we have been working in decades to build up military capabilities and to build up the capabilities in terms of trade, in terms of food supplies, in terms of the economy itself, and in terms of the military itself, in terms of the diplomatic situations. And of course, as we are seeing now, all the ministries, not only they're doing a great job, but also advising citizens to only listen from the official agencies, because we are living in a technologically advanced world where AI is now generating hundreds and thousands of videos that are not real and that are also deluding and deceiving the public into making an event into something else that may amplify the news and making them into something else just through AI. That's why I advise you on behalf of the Ministry of Information and Government Agencies to only listen for the verified news from official agencies and not listen to any unverified news. And viewers, with that, stay tuned for our official news bulletin coming up next, as we will dive into the latest local and regional developments. As of now, goodbye.